So I'm somebody who always believes in metrics. And I know today we're supposed to talk about where we're going to go and how we're going to do this. I first want to see the metric of Congress. Because we can all put the biggest ideas we want out there, but is Washington capable of doing it? I know they're capable of doing that slow creep where they can totally raise more regulations. Well, pretty soon you don't realize it's so tough to enter the market. Well, if we're at a 17-year low, we've made that big creep. So you can't do a slow creep back. You've got to do a fundamental change. So there's a couple of big ideas that I think could happen. But if I measure this new Congress, I just gave these statistics. And I gave them out at a little press conference the other day, and I gave them out today, and no one's written about it, so I'm going to keep giving it until somebody writes it, okay? Any of you know who Nate Silver is? Okay, Nate Silver, I like the guy. I believe he's not my same philosophy, but I'd go have lunch with him, right? Because first, he followed baseball, but numbers don't lie, right? You can have every dream you want, but knowing the numbers is very important. But Nate Silver has this quote where he says, "The signal is the truth, and the noise is what distracts us from the truth." And the noise is what people write about in the middle of the day. And that distracts you. So why you want data is you want to know where the truth is. Don't let everything else distract you. So don't let people distract you, say you can't do it. You know, they told me I couldn't open my business. They told me I couldn't do it. I actually built the counter in my dad's garage. And I wasn't a woodworker. I was just determined I was going to get my business open. Okay, so what is the signal that you're seeing inside Congress today? Because there's some things you want to have happen if you're going to be able to make big change. You want it to be more accountable. You want it to be more open. That's what technology does. Technology brings more openness, more transparency. So first of all, if we're more accountable. If you measure Congress at the last 30-year history, only 7.1% of any bill gets out of the committee. And you want bills to come out of committee because that's where expertise come, where they have an understanding and a knowledge. You know, today we're at 10.1, so we're a much higher level than average. So you see, this is just in the first 7 months, so we're more productive. Well, but is Congress open that you're having debates on both sides? So you want to look at the number of amendments that have been offered. Do you realize in this new Congress, we're 200 amendments over the average of what's been allowed to be on the floor in the past? So now you have a much more open Congress, so you're having a better debate. There we go. Now, what about effectiveness of being able to pass bills? Well, we're much higher. 125 bills are normal, which have been passed in the last 25 years here. We're at 190. Now, how about, and I'll take it more from a partisan level, just measure the Republican that have been in the majority. Do you realize this is the second most effective Republican Congress in modern history? If you measure a bill based upon if it got passed and signed into law, we don't have a Republican president. The only one that's been greater than this is the 108th Congress, but they had a Republican president, and they signed 10 more bills into law at this time as others. Now, I'm not saying we're perfect, but I'm saying we're trending in the right factor. So, are these ideas to make entrepreneurship greater, have a capability? Yes, because we have openness. And if there's one place you got to have more entrepreneurship, I'd say in the House and the Senate. Why? Because we've watched change happen so greatly across the country, but inside government it happens much slower. Why? Because they don't want to fight it. So if you ever want to see a way to do entrepreneurship, you know how I got all these statistics? A lot of young guys created a company called Quorum, and I contracted with them. You know what Quorum does? It just takes all the votes, all the congressional records, and it supplies it all and puts a little platform to it where I can pull it up in any shape or form I want. So now I have data. And data now lets me read it, so I have a better history of what I know can pass.